Hello guys, and welcome to the Watch Anime channel. My name is Juan, and today we're going to be doing a review for Highschool DxD episode 1 for season 4. Let's get started, guys. So this episode is essentially kind of an interesting episode, actually. It's kind of like a recap episode, but kind of like because they wanted to, I guess, show off the new animation, which is kind of like a light novel kind of style animation. And they kind of redid a whole episode, basically. The episode where like Asuya supposedly dies, and then Issei goes with like the Juggernaut drive, and it gets crazy insane. They kind of changed a few things in that episode, and they reanimated the entire episode. So you kind of have a comparison between two episodes, basically. And they added some kind of like a little small tease of the plot, because I guess I'm assuming that the villain or whoever that person is was present, or was kind of like being able to see all this happen with the Juggernaut drive, and I guess that's what like sets off the plot for season 4. But yeah, it's an interesting episode. So let's get started with what we see. First of all, obviously the new style of animation is a big change. For me personally, I love the light novel animation. I've always loved it. I love it in all kind of anime. That's the best kind of anime for me. I love it on Sword Art Online. I love it on all these on Fate Stay Night, all those type of styles, you know. That style of animation, I love it. I did love the first type of animation for Highschool DxD. It seemed more realistic. I don't know, the features and the characters were more real. But I mean, honestly, it makes it less pervy with the light novel animation, which is what a lot of people love Highschool DxD because of because of all the fan service. But for me, honestly, it wasn't that wasn't it for me. It was obviously the story for me when it came to Highschool DxD. So the fact that they changed the animation and kind of toned down the fan service is fine with me. I watched it on Hulu, so obviously everything was censored, I think. Well, except it was weird because Highschool DxD season 1 through 3 and Hulu isn't censored, but this season 4 episode was censored, which is fine by me. I mean, it doesn't distract me from it's distracting, to be honest, you know. You kind of feel a little awkward and stuff, and yeah, anime girls it's 2D life and everything like that, guys, but like, it's kind of distracting from the plot. But I get that that's what Highschool DxD is all about. It's about the fan service. But for me, it doesn't bother me that the fact that it's censored and the fact that the light novel tones down the fan service a little bit. But yeah, if obviously I might have to check out the uncensored version just to see what the difference is like. But personally, I don't mind watching it censored on Hulu. That's where I'm watching these episodes. But yeah, definitely, the animation itself is fine. I love it. Actually, a lot of people have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it at all. So that's one thing I like to get out of the way. Now, the story itself, it started off kind of like giving a quick recap of all the first season, basically. And then I think it jumps all the way to season 3, where the Juggernaut drive incident happens. And it kind of starts there, and it's the whole episode of the Juggernaut drive where he fights the descendant of Beelzebub, I think that's what his name is, the guy they kills, and they kind of redo it. In the original one, he just kind of like the volley goes in and just knocks him out of sense, knocks him into some sense. But this time they changed it to where it was kind of more like a fan service kind of issue, where like they played that song from season 3 at the end. Which is weird because at the end of season 3, they didn't reveal this song to the very end, the very, very, very end. And or actually no, it was at the end of that episode when he went after the interview to go record that. But it turns out he recorded in this episode. They changed their work to he recorded earlier, which makes sense because he was in the underworld. I think that's where he was, and it kind of makes sense that that's where he recorded it. You know, not when he was up there. But when they came back and he decided to go back to hell to record it, you know, doesn't make any sense. So I guess that's something. And like basically that was their plan, to play the song, the perverted song, and it kind of to get Issei to react somehow. And then basically the thing that saves him is Rias's boobs. Basically, that's what it is. She shows it to him, and he goes back to normal, which is okay. But it was cooler when like it was more dramatic and stuff. I guess they're toning down the dramatic part of it too on this episode. Hopefully that's not the issue with the whole season, because I loved the parts where it was dramatic and it was intense, and the action and the despair and the emotion, all that stuff was amazing. And when it came to season 3, especially in those episodes, and the fact that they tone it down, it makes it less epic. But I mean, it's okay, I guess, if they're trying to take it to a new direction, obviously, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'm so fond of this anime itself that it doesn't really bother me what they do with it. There's something, except unless they go really extreme with it, which is something I won't like. But yeah, that's the thing that they changed about the episode, and they end up stopping him, which is fine. But it's obvious, and then it changes, like shifts to where like it shows some mysterious guy with some kind of spear talking about the Longinus drive. I think that's what it's that attack that Issei used when he was in Juggernaut drive. He was talking about it, and like it shifted to like this garden and this mysterious guy with this awesome looking spear. Kind of looked like an infinity spear almost, and he's kind of interested in Issei. Kind of, I have a feeling this guy's gonna be the villain, without a doubt. This is a new character we've never seen before, and that's what sets up the plot for season 4. I'm assuming that's why they that's why they went into this episode about the Juggernaut drive, and not just goes directly into season 4, or like recap to the end where like Issei fights Rias. No, they decided to go back to this specific episode because it made some kind of impact to the villain when he saw all this. So it kind of makes sense that they did that. So I don't mind that at all. It was an interesting way to compare the animation, the different the episodes themselves. It was great. And then it shifts back to the very ending of the episode when they go like they have to run or whatever. But it's different because this time Asya confesses her love to him while they're on the track outside, instead of her confessing her love to him when they were alone in this room, which was more intimate and more secret, you know? And I know everyone noticed, but this time they didn't notice. This time they made it more like a funny thing, not like a more emotional thing, you know? It's kind of, they're trying to take a new turn with it to make it less serious and less pervy, but still give like that action type of vibe to it. So I guess that makes sense. At least that's what I got off from the first episode, you know? But it's interesting, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, they made it funny this time, but it wasn't really funny to me, you know? Like, the fact that he passed out because she said she loved him and he was all smiling about it, you know? And they made it like a little comedy thing, but it wasn't... I honestly prefer the more intimate one, where she confesses her love, because it means a lot more. But the sucky part is, you know, the fact that he's never going to end up with Asya no matter what. He thinks of her more like a sister and whatever, even though they're not. And the fact that he's in love with Rias, it's obvious. But I guess that's why they toned it down to a more comedic thing, because it doesn't. They know that it isn't going to amount to anything, despite his reaction and how much he cared for her. He doesn't see her that way. So yeah, it's never going to amount to anything. It's only going to go with Rias. So I guess they're trying to shift it to where Rias. That's his love. If this thing was kind of like a little funny thing, you know, and shifted away from that. I think that's what they tried to do, which is okay with me. But Ozzy is one of my favorite characters too. Actually, all of them. I love all of them. Every single character in Highschool DxD I love. I don't hate any of the characters. They all have their own unique styles, and I love it. Konako, she's amazing. Zenobia, she's crazy. And all the chicks, and Issei himself too, and his friends, and everybody. All the characters are amazing. And I can't wait to go into the season 4. If I understand that this is a recap episode, they kind of did the same thing with Highschool DxD in a different way, and they did this thing in a different way as well. But it kind of, except in Highschool DxD, they didn't. I mean, in My Hero Academia, they didn't really go into the plot a lot, and then this one they did, because it meant the reason why they went back to this episode and why they did this recap is because that episode meant something to the villain of the season 4, or at least I think he's the villain. But yeah, guys, that was Highschool DxD episode 1. It was a great episode. I was kind of underwhelmed because I was like, I'm just watching an old episode from Highschool DxD and not getting into season 4, despite the fact that they only have 12 episodes in this season, which is something that bugs me. I wish they had more. I wish they had 25 episodes. That way I could enjoy it more. I understand that they're only doing 12. They're only doing half, basically, because they're testing out this new animation. They're testing out this new type of series. And the fact that I think there's been quite a time gap between Highschool DxD season 3 and season 4, I think. I don't know how many years it's been, but I think has been a time gap. I'm not sure. So I understand that they're like kind of like putting their feet in the water a little bit, testing it out to see how it is. For me, I love it. I love the animation. I guess I understand why they went back to that episode and redid all of that episode, because it means something to the villain. Yeah, but I kind of think it's kind of a waste of an episode, to be honest. I wish they would have just done a quick recap of it, just kind of like they did the intro, and then reveal the villain and have its own episode. But I guess that's how they wanted to do it, and I can't complain. I give this episode, I guess, a 7, or maybe a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. It was great. It was okay, but it was I was expecting a lot more for the first episode, but I can't expect too much of it because most episodes are either intros or recaps. So yeah, guys, that was my review for High School DxD episode 1. Stay tuned for my manga reads, which I announced earlier in my previous videos. I'm gonna be doing some manga reads, so you'll be able to read the manga with me, and I'll be discussing it while you're reading it. And I'll be doing some gameplay later on. I'll be doing some podcasts. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Watch Anime channel. Go and subscribe to their channel and enjoy awesome anime content, as well as exclusive content at their Patreon account.